All right, let's talk. Yesterday, a big topic was line segments. All right, how to draw it appropriately, how to name it, how to write it symbolically. Today, still line segments, but now how do you find the length of it? All right, no ruler, no measuring device. How do you find the length of a line segment? Talk to me here. 1A, draw. Can somebody, what's that? Speak to me here geometrically. Draw. What's that say? Anybody? Line segment AB. All right, so let's draw it in. But now I'm going to give you what the endpoints are. So graph 2-3 and graph 7-3, and make a line segment, please. Draw that line segment. So we have 7-3 and 2-3 graphed. Now talk to me again. What's part B saying? We talked about this yesterday. If I just see AB by itself, it's asking me. Let's go. Sure, let's go to the numbers right away. What do you say? What do you say? Oh, 15, going deep, Gabby. Perfect. Find the length of it. Find the distance. And I have no magic formula for you here. Just count, right? We just count. So how long is AB here? AB has a length of 6. Thomas? How long is it? 5 units. Yep, good. Because he can count. All right, let's do it one more time now for CD. So go ahead, draw line segment CD with the new endpoints, -3, 1, and -3, -2. And how about the length there? 5. When you're ready, Haley, what do you got? 3 units. Good job. All right, so that's nice. Wow, this is going to be an easy day. I wish it was that easy. That I can only count if it's horizontal or vertical. Everyone agrees? What if I get a line segment that's not horizontal or vertical and I ask you to find the distance? Let's look at the next problem. Go ahead and graph. Oh, let's see. What do we got coming up? What do you got? Book. Thank you. At least somebody's focused in and not just focused in on the notes. 2, 1. 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Can't count here, right? And please don't do this. This is an embarrassment. 1, 2, 3. That's about 1/4. I'm going to go 3 1/4 for the lengths. Just stop. Actually, just get out of here. All right, if you're going to pull that, right? So I can't just count. I need some other device to be able to find the length. And that is today's topic. I'm going to give you a formula called the distance formula. This will find the length of any line segment. Before I give it to you, you are responsible for it. What do I mean by that? Monday's quiz, I am not going to put it on the quiz. That's your call. You got to come in knowing it. All good? Here's the distance formula. D for distance equals, you probably saw this last year. What is this? Square root, radical, whatever you called it. Square root. Underneath the square root, you have a set of parentheses. In those parentheses are the following. x2, not x squared. Look where I put the 2. That's called a subscript. It's not squared. Minus x1. Now, I'm going to add in more here. I'm not done with the distance formula. But what do I mean by x2 and x1? You have coordinates E and F. Do both of them have an x coordinate? You take both and you plug them in. All right? The order you subtract them does not matter. Why, honors kids? Oh, I'm not done yet. Sorry. Squared. I'll tell you why right now, after I square it. Why doesn't it matter what coordinate you put in first and second? Here's why. And you don't need to write this down. 4 minus 2 squared. What do you got? 4 minus 2? 2 squared. 4. What if I did the reverse? 2 minus 4? -2 squared? Doesn't matter. Okay, so don't worry about it. Doesn't matter the order, just as long as they're both x coordinates. We're going to put a plus sign next. And then here, wild guess, kids, what I'm going to put in that last parenthesis. Your y subtracted, correct. Y 2 minus y 1, still all squared at the end. All right? We're all good. Questions about that? Going? All right, you ready to go back up to EF and try it out? All right, so here we go. Distance of EF, square root. I subtract the x coordinates. So somebody let me know, what are the x coordinates here? 9, where are we going? Ian, what are my x coordinates? 4 and 2. Again, 4 minus 2, 2 minus 4. You don't have to worry about it. Plus, how about my y coordinates to plug in, please? 2. Zoe? 1 and 5. So 1 minus 5 all squared. Now, before we move on, look at the directions. Write your answer in simplest radical form. And this fires me up. You guys were born in the correct year, let me tell you. All right, because until this year, we never used these numWorks calculators, and your numWorks calculators let you already do it in simplest radical form for you. It does all the work. So let's get those out. I'll do this one with you. God, it fires me up. They already give it to you. You don't even have to work for it. Okay, calculate. All right, here we go. Ready? Square root. Everyone remembers where that button was above the parenthesis. Square root, parenthesis. 4 minus 2, close it up and square it. Plus, new parenthesis. 1 minus 5, close it up and square it. Enter, execute. Oh, that drives me nuts. You don't even have to work for it anymore. 2 radical 5. Back in the day, it would just come in 1 radical, and you had to understand how to break it down, but not anymore. 2 radical 5. And also notice, you see how it gives you the decimal version? And that's also good because some of these problems we do, I'll ask for nearest tenth or nearest whole number. So they're both there for you. So 2 square root of 5. Any other questions, comments? Going. Okay, 1 doesn't make you great. I want to make, because both these coordinates were positive, so I want to throw in some negatives in you just to make sure you don't fall in the trap. Here we go. Easy. That was a tough. Easy. White. That's white. All right. That's not slide right is when it actually all moves to the right. That was a white right there for you guys that saw that. All right, here we go. RS. I don't need to provide a graph anymore. Distance equals big square root. How about the x coordinates to plug in? And this is when I'm going to go nuts here. X coordinates to plug in. 6. What do we got, Thomas? Back to you. Okay, I'll plug that in. That's perfect. -2 minus 6. Hey. Every class I've done so far, this is my 4th class I'm doing it in today. Every class, if you went the other direction, 6 minus -2. Don't drop it or turn it into positive. All right, either one, because I'm getting a lot of kids do this, and they totally forget it. No. That 2 was a negative, so don't drop it, please. Good? Pay attention to the negative sign, especially when you use your calculator. All right, so thank you for my x coordinates, Thomas. And now how about my y coordinates to subtract? Oh, you're good. You're good. Don't show off. 1. Hi, Charlie.
6 -2.
Okay, ready? 6 minus a -2, or yes, you can put 6 plus 2. Don't put 6 minus 2. All right, don't forget your darn signs. And then go ahead. It's all calculator now from here. Now that you guys get to, gives you simplest radical form. Go ahead, try using it. And when you have it, simplest radical form, let me know. Take your time, though, when you have it. Thomas, back to you. 6, 3 today already.
8 radical 2.
Good job. 8 radical 2. before I move on, just so we're clear, as far as homework and quiz test goes, I at least need to see what you're plugging in for full credit. All right, I don't want to just see the final answer because you're tech savvy and boom, 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 boom. You use your calculator like you're texting someone, one of your friends. All right, I need to see what you're plugging in. We all good? Distance formula using your calculator. That does not impress me though, that you can simply just plug in numbers and use a calculator in an honors level class. Where do I need to use this on? Word problems. Let's go. Cube. Yep. Word problems. Let's do it. All right, so I got two kids here, Ben and Kate. Looks like they're going to make a map of their neighborhood. Can we just stop right there for a second and talk about Ben and Kate? It's a little too much time on their hands. Yeah, a little too much time, you think, on their hands making a map of their neighborhood. They must be the cool kids, right? All right, anyway. So every unit on their graph is 100 yards. All right, everyone good there? That's a huge fact. How far apart are they? How many yards apart are Ben and Kate's house? Well, before we start, it might be good to know what the actual coordinates are of their house, right? So Ben's house, what do you got? What's the coordinate of Ben's house? Oh, 6, Thomas. I might as well just keep calling on you here. Ben's house, what are the coordinates? 6, 2. You come up good every time. And how about Kate's house? 10. All right, there we go. What do we got, Matt? -2, -4. -2, -4. I like it. Now, let me just talk, because if I called on somebody else, they may have given me a different version. Instead of 6, 2, is it all right if I just go 600, 200 and just apply that 100 yards right now? Yeah, that's fine. Same thing down here. I could go -200, -400. And then whatever I get for the answer in distance, that's my answer. But I'm going to let you guys decide what coordinates to use. If you use the original coordinates, 6, 2, and -2, -4, and find the distance, just remember at the end, you got to multiply by 100. If you use the already converted coordinates, you have your answer already. So you guys decide. Go right ahead. Find the final answer for me. No matter what coordinates you use. Just make sure your answer is in yards and not units on the graph. Should be, and you see no rounding directions in this problem because none are needed. All right, none are needed. So I use the original coordinates without converting. I got a distance of 10. That's 10 units on the graph, not 10 yards. So I got to take that 10, multiply it by 100 yards for each unit, and I should get the distance between them as 1,000. I did see a lot of this on your papers. If not, make sure we put it on. We're in an honors level class, so make sure everything is labeled at the end. If your problem has a unit, so does your answer. Make sure we have yards here. Okay, make sure we have yards. Any questions going? Okay, last one. Flip, good job, flip. All right, last one. Before we get into it, let me tell you a little history here. I ask this every day, it seems like. What class are we in? Honors, right? We're in honors. So what's the difference between an honors class and the one below this, geometry AB? I teach 2 ABs and 2 of you guys BC. So what's the big difference? Well, the big difference is harder testing quizzes. Harder testing quizzes. The other difference is when we do notes sometimes, I'll slip in an honors level question. All right, that's above and beyond what's expected of a normal geometry student. So today, in my first and second period class, which is geometry AB, we did not have this. We were done with the notes at this point. All right. My third period in you guys, honors geometry BC, I put this one in because I feel like it's an honors level question that has to deal with distance formula. All right, so you'll see some of maybe I don't know if you know anybody or have any friends in AB, but sometimes we don't do the same problems. All right, sometimes you guys are a little bit higher above when it comes to the level of the problem. So buckle up for this one. That's what I'm telling you. This is an honors level distance problem. Buckle up. What's the value of n? P. I give you point P and point Q. What's this? First of all, what's this telling me here? Because I can't help you out on the test or quiz when it comes time. What's that telling me? PQ equals 13. Distance of PQ. So I'm giving you the distance now. I'm not asking you to find it. I'm giving you the distance. So now I know it's a distance problem. I get out my formula. I'm just going to, you guys don't have to recopy it, but I am just for teaching purposes here. All right, so where's that 13 going to go now? In for D, isn't it? Because now I know the distance is 13. So a little change up there than what we've been working on today. All right, what are my x coordinates? Help me out. What are my 2 x coordinates I need to subtract? 2. Zoe, what are my 2 x coordinates here? 3n and 4n. And just because I prefer to make sure my answer is positive, I'm going to do 4n minus 3n all squared. Everyone's all right so far. I haven't lost you because here's where it gets nuts. And I need you to lock in on me and try not to go ahead because you'll probably make a mistake. What are my y coordinates? What are my y coordinates I'm going to subtract? 6. Go ahead, Thomas, back to you. What are my y coordinates? Give me the first one.
N minus 7.
Okay, so n minus 7 minus the other y coordinate, which is what?
N plus 5.
N plus 5. Kids, what I just wrote there is incorrect. This is incorrect. In the distance formula, it says y2 minus y1. The entire second coordinate I need to subtract. The entire second coordinate. What's the only thing I'm subtracting right now? N. I'm not subtracting n plus 5. I'm only subtracting n if I write it like this. What am I trying to lead you to? We need to subtract the entire thing, not just n. Does everyone see how this is going to change now? Maybe? All right, let's keep going. 13 equals, let's clean this up a little bit. What are we going to get in this parenthesis? N, and then n squared is just n squared, right? All right, well, here we go. N minus 7. What am I going to have to do to that subtraction sign? Distribute it through. So yeah, it's going to be minus n, but what happens to that 5? It becomes minus 5, all right? So when you use distance formula, we need to subtract the entire y coordinate, just not the first part of it. Everyone see where we are right now? Let me know. We can go back and re-explain it. All right, let's see how your algebra skills are now. 13 equals, and I'm taking this step by step. I don't want to get ahead of anybody. N squared. All right, let's see. What are we left with in the parenthesis now with? What happens to the n's? See ya. They're gone. And I'm left with negative 7 minus 5, which gives me negative 12, right? And then I have to square it. So what's that going to be? N squared plus 144. So is everyone right where the 144 came from? All right, ready? What do I do from here? Now, most of you, and I understand why, please don't write this down. Most of you are going to look, oh, the square root of these two, oh, the square root of that is n, and the square root of that is 12. So I should be left with n plus 12. No. And I'll show you why that's incorrect. If I take what I think it is, n plus 12, I should be able to square that and get that back. That's the definition, right? If I take the square root of 9, I get 3, and if I do it times itself, I get that number back. But watch what happens. What do I get there? What do I get here? 12n. What do I get here? Another 12n, and then I'll get 144 at the end. Running out of room. Shoot. Where'd it go? Right there. Do you see how I'm going to get a middle term of 24n? Or would those match? That's why I can't take the square root of it. They're not the same. So where do I go then? All right, I want you guys to remember, what variable am I solving for? N, right? All right, so I got the n. I'm going to try to get that by itself. Can you get rid of the square root? Last year, can you get rid of the square root? How do I get rid of it? How do I undo it? Remember that from last year? How do I undo a square root? Square everything, right? So 13 squared, 169 equals, I just dropped the square root, n squared plus 144. Next move, algebra kids, algebra studs in here. Minus 144 on both sides. N squared equals, what, 25? Next move, square root it. Value of n. Remember, when you take the square root, you're left with a plus and minus version. And now, usually, you don't care about the minus version because you're talking about a word problem that involves like number of people, height of somebody, and you're like, negatives can't work. But here, what am I talking? What are P and Q? Those are coordinates. Can you have a negative coordinate? Darn right you can. So yeah, I need to go back and say not only plus 5, minus 5. So there's actually 2 answers for n. And I just didn't do this problem just to try to confuse you, and it's an honors level. You're going to see this type on homework tonight. One of the problems tonight is similar to this one, so I wanted to make sure you were good. The one thing to remember, got to subtract the entire coordinate. Okay, subtract the entire coordinate for me. Good? All right, look down at the bottom of your page. I want to make sure we are clear on the assignment tonight. You have 5 problems for me, and that's it. 5. You don't do page 31 through 33, all of them. All right, somebody asked me that. You do those 5 with those directions, right? Because those directions are not in your textbook. It won't be there. So number 20, make sure you leave your answer in simplest radical form for me. Number 31, you're going to have a conversion. The answer is going to be in feet, but I want the darn thing in miles. All right, and then number 32, round to the nearest tenth. 61, I'm giving you a little hint there. See where you go with that. All right, 61 and 64 are honors level problems. Don't give up. Don't quit on me. Go ahead. Get started. Yep. Where are we looking? Oh, this here. You said 13 equal to. Where are we looking here? Okay, what'd you type in for your equation? Okay, that's fine. Yeah, I get it. Just make sure you set up the right equation though. Okay.
So, did you just want to see?
Yes, correct. Yep.
So you
with,
Yeah.
with, that's got to be,
Yeah.
that's non-negotiable.
Yeah.
Got to have the parentheses
Yeah.
there. But yeah, you're correct. Yep.